So, do you see this video right here? This ultimate Moondrop buying guide video, my most popular video ever on this channel. Well, it is way outdated now. The information on there needs to be changed, and we're doing that today. So here you go, the new and updated ultimate Moondrop buying guide. Let's jump into it. Hey friends, Tim here. Welcome back to another video on Giz Audio, and today, before we even begin the video, there is a giveaway. Yes, I promise one giveaway every month, and here it is for July. Kato Dark Blue, sponsored by Hi-Fi Go. If you guys do not know Hi-Fi Go, they are the best audio, best Hi-Fi store out there. I spend most of my money in their stores. I don't know if I should be happy about that, but they are the best. Delivery, great. Service, great. Every little nuances of the buying experience is smooth and professional. Love their store, check them out, link below. And if you want to enter the giveaway, of course, number one, you need to be subscribed to this channel. Number two, leave a comment down below of your number one favorite Moondrop IEM right now. And of course, number three, follow the link in the description to the giveaway page for more information and ways to enter. Now, with that long intro out of the way, let's finally jump into the video. Now, in the previous list, I talked about a lot of the lower end price Moondrop IEMs, but since the release of the Moondrop shoe, a lot of those IEMs are now just unnecessary. Don't look at them, don't ask about them. The shoe is simply the best amongst the whole horde that's there. Now, when it comes to the tuning of the Moondrop shoe, it is a neutral signature, clean bass and lower mid separation, just super well controlled there. The mid-range is beautifully done. It's the same style of mid-range that you would find in way more expensive IEM, so that's something that's super special about the shoe. The upper mids have a lot of energy without coming across shouty in any way. It's just overall a super well-tuned set. The one biggest problem it has is that the treble area can be a little bit fatiguing for some people. So if you're extra sensitive to treble, the Moondrop shoe might not be the best choice for you. But for me, it really isn't a big deal at all. It doesn't bug me in any way, but it is a problem that came up for quite a few people, so I have to mention it. The second thing is that the Moondrop shoe does not have a detachable cable, so if you want to swap cables, upgrade cables, you're not gonna get that option with the shoe. But the best part about that is that it keeps the cost down, and this thing coming in at only $20 is literally a steal. And to sweeten the cake even more, these come with spring tips that cost on its own, I think around $10 to $13 or so. The deal literally cannot get any better than that. The shoe ends up costing $7. Next IEM in the Moondrop roster is gonna be the Moondrop Aria. Yes, the infamous Aria. One of the best IEM you can grab under $100. Super fun, sub bass to a really nice mid bass thump kind of DNA with a touch of warmth in the mid-range. Overall, really well tuned with a lot of nice energy in the upper mids. Vocals are lively, they're forward. The treble area is where this fumbles a little bit. It's quite uneven. It does have a little bit of sense of air, which adds to this extra wide stage feeling that it has. So the Aria for me, for under $100, is simply one of the best choice out there. Now, there's two versions of the Aria, the other one being the Aria Snow. Now, this one has a slightly different tuning. The sub bass roll off a little bit, giving this IEM a more centralized signature. So you're gonna get a lot more of that mid bass and the vocal experience. The stage is also a little bit less wide than the original Aria, but if you want a more neutral Aria with a little bit less bass, you want a more vocal and mid-range focused set, then the Aria Snow is the way to go. Details on both IEMs, especially the original Aria, is competitive at the price point that they're at, if not one of the top 3 best. Next IEM in the Moondrop collection, we have the Starfield. Good old Starfield. A lot of you probably heard about this IEM even before entering the Sci-Fi or the IEM hobby. This thing has transcended the realm of Sci-Fi. It's in the Western market, everyone knows about it. There's a lot of big videos on YouTube about the Starfield itself, so this needs no introduction whatsoever. This is tuned similar to the Moondrop Aria, around 95 to 98% similar. The biggest difference that this has is that the treble is a little bit more tamed and the imaging and details is a little bit better than the Aria overall. It is $30 more expensive though, and for me, it used to be a great option, but nowadays at $110, there are a lot of other IEMs out there that will easily take the spot of this, just because this is too close to the MOONDROP Aria, and you can get the Aria for much cheaper than this. At 110, it's no longer the most appealing option, especially when you consider that the upgrade that has a similar tuning to this, but arguably a bigger upgrade, is only a few more dollars away. And of course, I'm talking about the MOONDROP Kato. Now the Kato replaces the KXXS and the KXXX and is now the upgrade to the Aria that the Aria deserves. The Starfield is too little of an upgrade to warrant a purchase. I would highly recommend the Aria over the Starfield any day, just to save a little bit of extra money. But if you are in love with the Aria style of tuning and you want something that has more details, you want a tighter bass line, you want just a better IEM in general, but keeping the same tuning, then the Kato is your best bet. Also comes with better cables and better accessories, 2 different tuning nozzles, so you get 2 different types of sound in the Kato. If you want to check out what those are, you can watch my review of the Kato, I cover that. But yes, the Kato is a true upgrade to the Aria. The tuning is near identical, extremely similar, just better in details and resolution overall. The next set of IEMs we're going to talk about are the Blessing Twins. I'm talking about the Blessing 2 original version and the Blessing 2 Dusk in collaboration with Critical. These need no introduction whatsoever. They are the benchmark IEMs. A lot of people compare these sets, especially the Dusk, to something in the $1,000 range, and way back when, a couple years ago, that used to be the truest statement of all time. These competed with $1,000 sets, and even till today it still does to some extent, although less so than a couple years ago. They're still amazing though, easily under $600–700, I would say these still compete extremely well. So let's start off with the Blessing 2 original first. This thing is neutral. It has a really modest sub-bass and mid-bass presentation. So for bass head, this is absolutely not going to be for you, but the mid-range on this and the upper mids is just so naturally done. Vocals comes across lively, forward, and real. And on this one in particular, can be too much, can be too shouty at times and on certain songs, but all in all, beautifully tuned mid-range. The treble area is also nicely done, though lacking a bit of extension. So some female vocals do feel a little bit cut off or a little bit congested at times, but by no means a deal breaker. The mid-range on this is just phenomenal, and the best part about the IEM actually is the detail retrieval. This thing fights with some of the best $500 IEMs have to offer. The instrumental layering, the depth, the soundstage, the pinpoint accuracy, these are just extremely good. And for $300, I'd be hard pressed to recommend anything that's better than this, detail wise at least. And the same exact sentiment carries over to the Dusk. Details and resolution, king, under $500. Now the tuning of the Dusk is slightly bit different than the original Blessing 2. The Dusk adds bass to the original Blessing 2, making this a way more well-rounded IEM. It sounds more balanced, more natural. The bass line is super well controlled, but has strong enough bass to satisfy some bass heads out there. The upper mid range is also fixed. It still retains enough energy to be lively, forward, and natural, but it doesn't have that extra bit of potential shout that the original one has anymore. So this mid-range is even better than the original Blessing 2. The treble area though, pretty much the same, nothing much changed there. It's still a little bit uneven with a little bit lack of extension, but all in all, the better set for me is the Dusk. But if you really don't like bass or you don't care about bass, then the Blessing 2 would be the choice for you. So you might be wondering then, what happened in the past year or two that dethroned the Blessing Twins from competing in the $1,000 range? Well, the answer is MOONDROP themselves. Yeah, MOONDROP outcompete themselves with this new IEM, the MOONDROP Variation. This takes the Dusk level of details to another stage. The sound stage is just wide, it's open, there's a good sense of separation and room between each segment of the frequency range. Each instruments feel like they have their own little pocket to sit in. It's just a joy to listen to how resolving these are. Especially again, that sound stage. And the sound stage being so wide can all be thanks to the tuning of this thing. The treble area is so well extended, has a lot of air, a better treble than the Blessing Twins altogether, and that's probably the biggest selling point of this. The bass is gonna be a love or hate for some people. It has a sub-bass focused signature, a true Harmon if you will, not a lot of mid-bass. So for some of you who love that thump, that slam, or the extra bit of warmth in the vocals, you're not gonna get that with the variations. The mid-range of the variation is very clean cut, neutral, tons of energy in the upper mids, and when you pair a lot of energy in the upper mids with really good treble, you get extremely good female vocal recreation. Females just come across so good, for a lack of a better word, just so dreamy, good, forward, lively. But for male vocals, some deeper instruments, some bassy instrument, it lacks that bit of warmth to really recreate that fun element, if you will. But for me, it has so many other great points about it that it just sits amongst the top best IEMs under $1,000 today. The tuning style of this is mostly a preferential thing. I wouldn't say is good or bad in that regard when we're talking about the lack of mid-bass, that is. And last but not least, we have the most expensive, worth it IEM in the MOONDROP collection. This is the MOONDROP S8. This shares similar tuning philosophy to the Blessing 2 Dusk, but improves the technical performance greatly. The details is better, the instrumental separation is better, the imaging is even more precise than on the Blessing 2 Dusk. Every instruments and notes comes across with just that much more distinction on the S8 than the Dusk. Now, of course, it costs twice as much as the Dusk. Now, do you want to pay that much for extra technical performance? For the majority of people, I would say the Blessing 2 Dusk is fine. The variation is just fine. You don't need to spend the extra $300-400 to get the S8. For me, the other two are just phenomenal already and a lot more bang for your buck than this one. But of course, if you can afford it, the S8 right now is the current best MOONDROP IEM. Alright, that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Now, of course, there's a lot of other MOONDROP IEMs that I didn't mention out there, like the Illumination, the Solace, I believe, and the A8, and some cheaper ones as well. All those are not relevant in today's market anymore. They don't compete with the current MOONDROP roundup that I presented in this video, so don't even take a look at those. These that you see here in this video are currently the best MOONDROP on the market. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, link below, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Bye.